Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we're going to take a look at the previews. We have 3 to look at in this video. Previews of Battletome Slaves to Darkness. We're over here on WarCom. I will link all these articles in the description below if you want to check them out yourself. And I should probably be open and honest, I haven't played a full-blown Sigmar, even 1,000 point of the proper rules. I've done a Spearhead. I've sort of watched quite a few, but I still trying to build my Darkoath army. But that's why I'm excited about this one. And that's why I'm covering this one, because Slaves is my faction. I love the Darkoath models. I love the Darkoath Spearhead, which we'll touch on later. And I'm really interested to see how this stuff changes. And it looks like there's some fundamental changes in how the army functions. Which is interesting, because the Skaven was fairly similar to their index. And I think Stormcast might have been similar. I haven't seen much about the Stormcast, I'll be honest. I didn't really know their rules to start with. But yeah, how about we just jump into this one? Raise corrupt banners and transform heroes into demon princes in Battletome Slaves to Darkness. The Slaves to Darkness are one of the most formidable fighting forces in all the mortal realms. Their vast legions made up of the Darkoath tribes that worship the ruinous power in all but name. Armoured veterans that serve Archaon the Everchosen, and the secretive cells pledged to Be'lakor the First Prince. That's a pretty cool shot. I love it. I think the thing with Slaves that gets me is the mix of sizes and models. You've got fully armoured, you've got barbarians, in animal skins. You've got your fully armoured knights, you've got fully armoured riders, you've also got your barbarian riders and things as well. You've got some really cool looking heroes. You've also got, I think there are 3 levels of, you've got warriors, you've got chosen, and then you've got Varangard. So there's multiple tiers of warrior, which I think is so cool. Even from a narrative point of going through the ranks. You have a character who starts off as a Darkoath warrior, he becomes the chieftain, he then merges out, and branches out into a full-blown warrior of chaos. Leads up going up the ranks to become a Varangard. That's a kind of narrative you could tell over multiple battles, campaigns, years. I'm so excited about that. But you've also got the monsters and things. And who doesn't love a troll? So yeah, this is why I love this faction more than any other faction. It is the Darkoath models got me excited about them, but it's the ability to just mix all kinds of different styles of troops that I just love. Anyway, enough about me. More about the Battletome. Battletome Slaves to Darkness permits you to craft an army to represent any of these factions, and Be'lakor also receives his very own demon-packed army of Renown. But the mortal followers of the Dark Gods will receive incisive changes from their faction pack. Eye of the Gods is still the primary battle trait, but you must now choose a single non-unique hero as the focus of the burning gaze of the gods. So, Eye of the Gods, every time this aspiring champion, so this is on a single non-unique hero, anytime an aspiring champion pleases the gods by using a fight ability, doesn't say anything about killing them, it just uses a fight ability, they will earn D3 apotheosis points, or 2d3 if they have the Deathmonger heroic trait and manage to fight both times. They'll get D3 additional points if they're outside of your territory and are contesting an objective at the end of your turn. So that builds it into at least your hero and units around your hero. You want to be pushing them forward constantly. They're very aggressive, which is nice. So the new Eye of the Gods table is very different. This is once per battle in the deployment phase. Pick a friendly non-unique Warriors of Chaos or Darkoath hero to be the target. During the battle, the target gains Dark Apotheosis points as follows. Each time the target uses a fight ability, it gains D3 Dark Apotheosis points. At the end of each of your turns, if the target is contesting an objective that is wholly outside friendly territory, it gains another D3 Dark Apotheosis points, which is very different. We'll come back to what it was previously. I think we'll run through this and then we'll talk. Cash in 8 points to undergo a Dark Apotheosis, swelling with power as the gods grant an aura of chaos which heals and provides a 5-up ward, or transforming into a towering demon prince with the same enhancements and pledge to chaos as the original hero. So, Dark Apotheosis, this is in any hero phase. Pick a friendly unit with 8 or more Dark Apotheosis points to be the target. Effect, pick one of the following. Aura of Chaos, heal X the target, where X is the number of damage points allocated to the target. Heal any number of damage points allocated to the target, so it's just an instant full heal. And the first time you do it, if you can do it more than once, doesn't say you can, it just says you need 8 or more points. You get a 5-up ward save for the rest of the battle, which it's not to be sniffed at, a 5-up ward. Or Demon Hood. Set up a Demon Prince within 1 inch of the target, then remove the target from the battlefield. If the target is your general, the Demon Prince becomes your general instead. If the target has any enhancements, the Demon Prince has those enhancements instead. If the target has a Pledge to Chaos keyword, the Demon Prince has the same keyword. Otherwise, pick one Pledge to Chaos keyword for the Demon Prince to have for the rest of the battle. Which is very different. I like it. It's very themey, but it's very different. What is a Pledge to Chaos, you ask? Let us whisper dark promises in your ear. Once per turn, a Slaves to Darkness unit. Once per turn, a Slaves to Darkness unit, okay, can swear their mortal soul to one of the 4 Chaos Gods to earn a passive benefit that lasts for the rest of the battle. For instance, those pledged to Khorne gain an extra attack, while warriors pledged to Slaanesh can chuck an extra dice in with their charge rolls. Strong. Oh, this has changed as well. I'm guessing that Pledge to Chaos takes over Marks of Chaos. Yes, no? Maybe. But this is once per turn a Slaves to Darkness unit can swear. So once per turn a Slaves to Darkness unit can swear them out. So, okay. I'm not entirely sure. I think there's more to it than just this. But once per turn, your hero phase, pick a friendly non-unique Slaves to Darkness unit, not hero. That is hero. Yeah, so unit that does not already have one of the keywords below. Pick one of the following. Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slaanesh. The target has that keyword for the rest of the battle, so it's a once per unit thing. Khorne is +1 to attack characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly units, which is nice. What did Khorne used to be? Add 1 to the attack characteristic for the rest of the turn if the unit charged on the same turn. I mean, that's arguably better. And Slaanesh is for the rest of the turn, so in your charge phase, for the rest of the turn, add 1 to the number of dice rolled when making charge rolls, which is a maximum of 3, which is, I think, the same. Add 1 to run and charge rolls for that unit. So you still get your +1 to charge rolls, which is nice. I mean, a 3d6 charge is pretty spicy, but they don't get it to their run rolls. But I guess if you're running, you're not necessarily charging into a fight, are you? Yeah, okay. So, there is some big tweaks to these. Gaunt Summoners, the Mutalith Vortex Beast, and the Slaughter Brute already have the relevant Pledge to Chaos keywords, while the Demon Prince also gets to pick a pledge at army creation. There are other ways to attract the favour of one of the 4 gods. There's no mention of Undivided here. One infantry or cavalry unit with a standard bearer keyword in your army can have an enscrolled banner. The Dread Banner is your basic catch-all standard for the Indecisive Warlord, which prevents enemy units from using commands while they're in combat with the bearer. Spicy. The Banner of Screaming Flesh unlocks Pledged to Slaanesh, providing units with the benefit of an extra attack on melee weapons, and Eroding Icon grants the Resilience of Nurgle and negates critical hits that target the unit. Other banners offer even more thematic boons from your chosen patron. While this is the Dread Banner. While this unit includes any standard bearers, enemy units cannot use commands while they're in combat with this unit. That's pretty strong. This is per unit, and each unit can only have 1 enscrolled banner, and it's any infantry and cavalry unit that can take a standard bearer, which I think is a lot of them. Nurgle's pretty nice. Critical hits are just treated as regular hits. so I'm guessing that wouldn't trigger things either. Sounds very strong, very nurgly. And I quite like the Slaanesh +1 to the attack characteristics of melee weapons. But then that's kind of just Khorne, isn't it? I wonder what the Khorne banner does. I mean, I like it. I'm slightly concerned as somebody who runs Darkoath, who are all undivided, I think. Yeah, they're all undivided. I'd like to know what undivided is, because you can't get rid of undivided. Surely not. I like these changes, but I want to know how it affects my Darkoath. But for your standard chaos stuff, I mean, it does say, so what did it say about the Gaunt Summoners, the Mutolith Vortex Beast, and the Slaughter Brute already have the relevant Pledge to Chaos keywords? Doesn't say anything about Darkoath, but do they already have Undivided, like they do in the index cards? Interesting. I would like to know more, please, sir. Yeah, definitely some big changes to the faction cards there, which is probably going to take a little bit of getting used to, because they may not sound like big changes, but I think that we're actually starting to see them tweaking rules from faction, things that they may have learned or things that they found in playtesting, but it was too late to change cards and stuff, which is good. Let's jump on to the second article. Strike a dark bargain with renowned Slaves to Darkness regiments and armies. The Slaves to Darkness are a force to be reckoned with in their own right, but they're also allies of convenience for all the forces of chaos. Between Archaon, Be'lakor, and the many vainglorious lords beneath them, the rewards are great for an ambitious sellsword. You speak in my language. Oh, the chariot's still there. Oh, maybe we're not getting a new chariot then. That's a shame. 2 new Regiment of Renowns and an Army of Renown in Battletome Slaves to Darkness provide ample opportunity to unite the diverse legions of chaos. Take Lord Skaldior's Chosen. Loyal to the Ever-Chosen, they rove the lands doing his bidding while fighting alongside the faithful of Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh and Tzeentch, and even the forces of the Great Horned Rat. Oh, that could be fun. Sworn to fight in eerie silence by some oath to Skaldior, a mounted Chaos Lord, this cohort of 5 knights and 10 warriors are ironclad despoilers, benefiting from +1 to their save rolls while contesting objectives, and +1 to wound rolls while contesting an objective you don't control. Nice. Only a handful of the most formidable warriors can climb the heady heights of the path to glory and achieve demonhood. While some such individuals manage this unlikely feat, they may find themselves petitioned by the ruinous powers. A god-marked ascendant is a boon to any of the armies of the 4 dark gods, taking on a faction keyword and reveling in the associated gifts of chaos, including extra attacks, sorcerous powers, resilience and speed. So the god-marked ascendant is gifts of chaos. If this unit is the Blades of Khorne keyword, +1 to attack characteristic of its Hell-forged weapons. Tzeentch is Wizard +1. Maggotkin of Nurgle is a 5-up ward. It's nice. And Slaanesh is add 1 to run rolls and charges, so that's the same. Right, that's the same as what the Mark of Chaos was passively for slaves in the faction. Always in the shadows, Be'lakor has now amassed enough power to play his own game with the ruinous powers. His Legion of the First Prince has a wide roster including 8 demon units, which have war scrolls in the Battletome. Good. Bloodletters, Bloodcrushers, Screamers and Flamers of Tzeentch, Plaguebearers, Beasts of Nurgle, Fiends and Hellflayers. So you're mixing in demons with... Oh, I like how they're doing that. They're weaving it in. Maybe there isn't going to be a Demons Codex then. A Demons Battletome. Maybe it's just coming into this. Either way, like, as someone who would rather have this, being able to just randomly throw in units of demons under this Army of Renown is kind of cool. So the First Damned Prince is more than happy to use them as inhuman shields. Gaining a 4-up ward and the ability to pass damage off to those infernal hordes, the Dark Master can bestow favour to his followers, improving their control score and granting increased resilience. So the First Damned Prince, while the friendly Be'lakor is within combat range of any friendly non-hero Legion of the First Prince units, Be'lakor has a 4-up ward. In addition, each time you make a successful ward roll for a friendly Be'lakor, allocate 1 damage point to a friendly non-hero Legion of the First Prince demon unit that is within the unit's combat range after the damage sequence of this unit has been resolved. Ward rolls cannot be made for those damage points. I like it. So You can either take them on effectively a bodyguard, or you can run the risk of your 50-50 ward. And bestow favour. Friendly Bellicor is on the battlefield. Pick a non-hero Legion of the First Prince unit as the target. Until the start of your next turn, add 5 to the target's control score. If that target is a demon unit, add 1 to save rolls. And if it is a non-demon unit, it gets a 6-up ward. Pretty nice. He even has a spell law rooted in shadowy manipulation. Casting Shroud in Darkness lets a unit move up to d6 inches as long as they don't end in combat, and it obscures them to any unit within more than 12 inches away. Sometimes direct damage and a dark cantrip can inflict harm up to 3 targets, and a cabal of Chaos Sorcerer Lords, all casting this unlimited spell, can become truly devastating. So Shroud in Darkness on a 7. Pick a friendly Legion of the First Prince Wizard to cast this spell. Then pick a visible friendly Legion of the First Prince unit that is not in combat and is wholly within 12 inches of that wizard be the target. Cast it on 2d6, and on a 7 it goes through. The target can move d6 inches. It cannot end its move in combat, which is within 3 inches of an enemy. And in addition, until the start of your next turn, the target is not visible to enemy units while they are more than 12 inches away. Dark Cantrip is unlimited. It's on a 6, so roll 2d6, and on a 6 or more it goes off. Pick a Legion of the First Prince Wizard to cast the spell. Pick up to 3 visible enemy units within 18 inches of them with the targets. Then make the cast roll. Inflict 1 mortal damage to each target. Because doing it just for 1 mortal damage is it's chip damage, but it can add up, can't it? And it is unlimited, so other Chaos Lords can do it. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let's have a look at the exciting bit for me. This is the new Spearhead, which was revealed a couple of weeks ago, I believe. Slaves to Darkness has many faces, but many among them are the hardy men and women of the Darkoath tribes, abandoned by Sigmar when he beat a hasty retreat from Archaon at the dawn of the Age of Chaos, the big coward. They make oaths to their gods in return for power, and their most ferocious leaders pursue the heady heights of the path to glory. With a savage new Spearhead coming alongside Battletome Slaves to Darkness, they'll soon be able to pledge their allegiance in this fast and furious game mode. So that's it there. You've got your riders, you've got your Warcry Warband, the Savages, you've got your War Queen and the Marauders, just 10 Marauders there. Very nice, I like this. This gives you a good mix of basically everything. They're all nice models, but I think the Savages are some of my favourite. I think the Savages are just amazing though. Darkoath Raiders are a roving band of brutes united by a Darkoath War Queen, a fearless warrior who has reached the dizzying heights of leadership among the Darkoath tribes, and as such has begun her journey to ascend the path to glory. Once per turn, they can make one of their infamous Oaths to Darkness, proving their might to the gods, so they might be handsomely rewarded. To do so, they must choose one of their battle tactic cards and show it to their opponent. If it is scored, the card remains face up and the command ability on it can be used at any acceptable time during the rest of the game. Face up oaths don't count towards your hand of battle tactics, so by fulfilling them, you can amass a trove of commands to call on. Oh, that's... wow! I like that. Okay, so Oaths to Darkness. This is once per turn in your hero phase. You can reveal 1 battle tactic card in your hand to your opponent. If you do so, the battle tactic card becomes your oath for the rest of the turn. While this battle tactic card is your oath, you can still use the command on it, or attempt to score the battle tactic on it as normal. So it's either or at that point. So it still functions as a normal tactic card. If you score the battle tactic on your oath this turn, your oath is fulfilled. Instead of discarding the card, it is placed to one side, but you may still use the command on it. Once you do so, the card is discarded as normal. Fulfilled oaths placed to one side in this way do not count towards the 3 battle tactic cards you can have in your hand. If you use the command on your oath before it's scored, it is discarded as normal. At the end of the turn, if the oath is still in your hand and that oath is not fulfilled, it ceases to be your oath. Okay, so you fulfill it or you lose it. Risk and reward. Nice, I like it. Darkoath Raiders have 2 regiment abilities. They can either go all in on melee combat with the Rage of Akar, which allows a unit to improve its rend, or lean into their natural talent for hit and run attacks as Fearless Invaders. So, any combat phase, once per turn, Rage of Akar, pick a friendly unit in combat to be the target. For the rest of the turn, add 1 to the rend characteristic of the target's weapons. This does not affect companion weapons, so your warriors get it, your horses don't. Or, again, same restriction once per turn, but this time in your movement phase, pick a friendly unit in combat to be the target. If the target uses the retreat action this turn, no mortal damage is inflicted on it, and it can still use charge abilities later in the turn. Okay, they're both situational and potentially very strong. I like that. The Darkoath War Queen herself is the linchpin, taking the Oath of Supremacy in her hero phase, bestowing improved hit rolls to a unit within 12 inches. Declare a friendly unit wholly within 12 inches of your general to be the target. Until the start of your next turn, add 1 to the hit rolls made by that target. Oh, nasty. Usually found roving the lands in pursuit of their own oaths, the Darkoath Savages are accompanied by a God Speaker who uses her powers of divination to receive Visions of Glory. So Visions of Glory is in your hero phase. If this unit includes a God Speaker, roll 8 dice. For each 6, until the start of your next turn, you can re-roll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, 1 run roll, or 1 save roll for this unit. So it is just the Savages. Wow, that's nice. That's nice. It's not guaranteed, but if you get a 6 or a couple of 6s, that can be very handy. The force is completed by 5 swift Darkoath Fellriders and 10 Darkoath Marauders who have a chance to return to battle via the reinforcements keyword. Okay, so it's just the 2 more standard troops units that do. Fine. And it's up for pre-order on Saturday. But all of these units are available for sale now if you want to buy them individually. That's strong. Visions of Glory is strong. Oh, what are the Savages going to do as a unit in AOS proper? I know Spearhead's different. Oh, wow, this is nice. That's strong. +1 to hit rolls. Just +1. Just give them +1 to hit rolls. Potentially re-rolling. And even if you got 1 or 2. I mean, what are the stats on a rolling 8 dice? How many 6s would you get? You're probably going to get at least 1, right? Potentially 2? Maybe more. So that's strong. These abilities sound quite strong. Being able to retreat without taking any mortal damage and still being able to charge is nice. Or just if you're up against something that's tanky with a good save, say Stormcast Eternals, just +1 rend. And then the Oaths thing is a really, really interesting play, because quite often you might just have a card that you know you can score and you're probably not going to want to use the command on it this turn, and being able to keep it, or pushing out for the ability to keep that command for a later turn, and it not affect how many cards you take in the next turn, that's nice. All of this is the kind of stuff I like to play with, the little shenanigans and stuff, and yeah, I like this. This is definitely my Spearhead. I'm gonna have to get them all put together, aren't we? Pull my finger out and get some painting done. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah, so there we go. Week 1. They go up for pre-order on Saturday, but then there's another 2 weeks because we're still on 2-week pre-orders. So the tome itself isn't actually out until the 7th of December. So we're probably going to get a couple more things later on in the week. And if we do, if we get any more articles, I'll run through them. This is my faction, I'm interested in this. Yeah, so, yeah. The Spearhead is new. It's a whole new thing, but there's some really nice mess around stuff in there. I love that. Eye of the Gods has really fundamentally changed. So Eye of the Gods used to be each friendly Slaves to Darkness unit that has destroyed an enemy unit this turn is a target. You couldn't do it on beasts and non-hero monsters. And it was, as a reward, roll a d6 for each target and apply the corresponding effect below. You can re-roll the reward roll for the target, but if you do so, when you roll a 1, inflict d3 mortal wounds on the target. So 1 is snubbed by the gods, no effect. 2 was mutative regrowth, heal 3 on the target. I suppose that's where your Aura of Chaos gives you that heal, but it's not just heal 3, it's just heal to full health. Wow. Rolling a 3 was Unnatural Grace. Add 1 to hit rolls for the target's combat attacks for the rest of the battle. 4 was Lurid Aura, which was the target gets a 6-up ward for the rest of the battle. If the target already has a 6-up ward, he gets a 5-up ward instead, and that 5-up ward couldn't be improved. But if you rolled a 4 and the next turn they destroyed another unit and you rolled another 4, you could potentially put a 5-up ward, which was nice. And I suppose that Aura of Chaos, but this is just on heroes, isn't it? Non-unique Warriors of Chaos Dark. So this is not on every unit. It was a bit strong to be on every unit, I guess. It was very strong to be on every unit, I think. Yeah, this makes sense because it turns your generals or your heroes. A Darkoath army, you really need to build out with the heroes as well. So that's quite nice. Yeah, a 5 was Slaughterer's Might. Add 1 to the rend characteristic of the target's melee weapons for the rest of the battle, which is very strong. And 6 was Champion of Chaos. Just pick any effect. Oh, and also just down here, the same effect can be applied multiple times to a unit, and more than one effect can apply to a unit at the same time. So if you had a really strong unit that was chewing through chaff, you could potentially have a lot of things going off. And you had the ability to make a reroll, but there's the risk of if you rerolled something that you didn't necessarily want into a 1, you would take damage. So this is a real fundamental change to how the army would work. And it was also once per turn at the end of any turn on a unit, any unit, except beasts and non-hero monsters who had slain a unit. So it was potentially going off quite a lot. So actually this change is much, much, much less bookkeepy, and it more focuses into having heroes on the table instead of loads of just individual units, which I personally like. I like the whole narrative-y vibe, and I don't think, or in my head, you wouldn't just have a load of warriors running around. Like, you need a couple of people to lead them, and then the ability to just say, right, I've got my 8 points, I'm now going to be a demon prince, means I'm going to have to buy a demon prince, which I am not complaining about at all. It's a lovely model, the new demon prince model. They're not telling us what Nurgle and Tzeentch are for the Pledge to Chaos yet, and there's no mention of Undivided. Now, Undivided used to be add 1 to wound rolls of the unit's combat attacks that target a hero or monster. Predominantly it was Darkoath, or you could pick it. But maybe Undivided is now going to be a keyword that's just on the unit instead of being something that you can choose. Because the Darkoath, like Warriors of Chaos and stuff, they could always choose one of these things and pledge to one of the gods. One of the 4 gods or the Undivided. But Darkoath are just Undivided. Their keyword was Undivided. Everybody else, let's just compare. I've got my cards here, I'm just jumping through. Yeah, so Chaos Warriors was just pick one, whereas Darkoath they have to be Undivided. So maybe we are keeping Undivided and it is just becoming a keyword that certain units in the armies have. What would... So the Mutalith Vortex Beast. Vortex Beast was always Tzeentch. The Slaughter Brute was always Khorne. The Gaunt Summoner was always Tzeentch. And everybody else. Abraxia is Undivided. Archaon is Undivided. Undivided, you can't just get rid of Undivided, can you? Varangard could pick. Demon Prince would pick. Be'lakor was Undivided, which makes sense. Eternus was Undivided. And then your standard unnamed Chaos Warlords you'd pick. I hope they haven't got rid of Undivided. I'm sure they haven't, because it feels like it's a staple thing. Either way, they sound pretty good, and they sound like they have tweaked things, and Slaanesh-focused units maybe have a little bit more Slaanesh-y stuff. Khorne-focused units, like the demons that they mentioned in the other article. And these here, the standard bearer, which is pretty much most infantry units. quite a lot of the units that are actual units have standard bearer keyword, and this can help you build more into it as well. Yeah, there's some big changes here potentially, and I haven't got my head around the faction rules yet, which is probably a good thing if this is all changing in a couple of weeks. But hopefully this is going to shake up the army lists, because a lot of the time it was just Chaos Warriors, Varangard, and there was no looking for Darkoath. And the Darkoath were just chaff that you threw at things, and doing a pure Darkoath army was it was fun, but it never really seemed all that strong. Whereas now maybe a pure Darkoath army gives you something. They've not told us about the battle formations just yet, but we've had Army of Renown, Army of Renowns, which sound really fun, really themey. And then the changes to Eye of the Gods. Yeah, I think there's going to be more to come, and we'll obviously have a look. But let me know what you think. I'm obviously not understanding all of this. Let me know what I've got wrong in the comments, please. But I'm definitely going to start putting together my variety of Slaves to Darkness armies in preparation for the Battletome. I cannot wait. I'm so excited about this. I love these models. And the more I look at them, the more I love not just the Darkoath, but the other stuff as well. I think there's so much that you could do, and so many ways that you could tell the narrative spin on your army with different paint jobs, tweaking weapons, a couple of kit bashes here and there. I think there's so much that you could do. I already have 3 different models for one character, like my general that represents me, because I'm sad like that. I have to have me on the tabletop. So I've got me as a Darkoath warrior, me as a mounted chieftain, kit bashed, and then I've got me as a exalted champion who can tweak into Chaos Lord, whatever, that I'm putting together at the minute as well, with, you know, different heads and things just to be different, and different weapons, and really making it feel like he's progressing through into this twisted, demon-y, and obviously I'm going to have to find the Demon Prince. But he's twisting into this more powerful, bigger, more muscular, animalistic character is how I'm building him. With a few little hints to point out that it is the same character, like there's the same shield and stuff like that. Really, really cool. I'd love to do videos on that. I'm not set up for that. I need to really look at cameras and things, which isn't going to be cheap. Yeah, this is just getting me more excited for more stuff to do on the channel. But obviously let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. See you all in the next one.